morning, good afternoon, or good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you're watching right around the world. Apologies, we have fixed the stream. We've got the audio coming through and the picture, and just in the nick of time too, gentlemen, because we have travelled a couple of minutes gone in this session. In fact, 5 minutes gone already in this session. But we have refreshed the stream. Hope you can join us here for round 6 of this championship. The Nissan Liam Neeson GTR Mint Matte Series. And we are missing the notable Simon Bishop, who I spent all my Gran Turismo coins on, betting on him, and Team NZ winning the championships over there in Spain. But we'll wait to get everybody back in the stream. And you can see there we've got Mint Matte with a 42.397, the German rifle 4/10 further back behind him. And then the rest of them, Will Star goes up to second place now with that time. Good lap by him. And we've got Jono as well, Jimbo in the house too. A few familiar names and a couple of new ones as well. We've only seen Jackery there in recent weeks, the last week or so, along with Aaron Thomas. And my Bingerling there as well, as I am joined, I should say, by my co-commentators. First of all, Jason Wilkinson, good evening to you and welcome to Thursday Night Liam Neeson's.
Yes, welcome everyone. Little audio issues, they are all sorted now and we're in business end of quality. Of course, only 10 minutes, so it's 3 minutes to go now. There's going to be, 2 laps for most of these guys. Just a quick thing, we got Will Star having his first run in KRL tonight. He's done the social race before, but he messaged me a bit earlier, said, can I join tonight? I said, absolutely, Will, I am. So he is in. Rain of Fire is making his comeback, which is good to see. We've got, as I said, Jackery, Aaron Thomas. Nemo's making his first race back since round 1 in the Nissan, so he's going to be good. And of course, my favourite, my teammate, the guy who hasn't raced at all this series, because even though it was named after him, Binger, he's got the gold brick, the car that he ran for a good 2 or 3 years. He's here tonight. He's not going to do qual, so he's just going to send it from the back and see where he ends up.
Great stuff there. Binger is not qualifying, like you mentioned. Saint Sim also in the pits. And there is Nemo. And we've got a story about Nemo. He sent me a message during the course of the week. We've got a special thing for Nemo. Of course, Jimbo there as well. And Jimbo Jones there. Aaron Thomas as well. Kick it and rip it there, down in 17th. And then we've got Jackery leading his class for the time being. Rain of Fire says, never driven these before, so this will be interesting. And without further ado, I tell you what, let me introduce my other co-commentator who is back in the commentary box this week. And boy, he is back streaming in a big way. We saw him around Nords today getting amongst the action. And I speak of the man who can win a game of Connect 4 in just 3 moves. I speak of none other than Chuck Norris, the Nigerian Prince. Great to have you back with us in the commentary box this week.
Yeah, Trev, it's good to be back. Sadly, I wasn't here last night due to internet issues, but I'm back and feeling better than ever. Got a nice win at Nords today. A great way to come into Kyalami here tonight. I'm looking forward to this. The Liam Neeson series, Trev. I've missed it.
And boy, oh boy, let's have a look. We've just got the championship standings. After the first 5 weeks of the series, fellas, I decided to put the championship standings on the same page as what we're looking at. You can see there, Psydog, first, second, first, but he is not here tonight. He's in Barcelona, of course, Wilco. So this is going to be interesting to see whether the rest of the field can cut that gap before the final round next week.
Yeah, no, exactly. I've also got messages coming through. My other teammate is now saying he's going to jump on, so Mac Miller's going to jump in too. So the boys are making their ACC comeback, ready for the Enduro next week. Of course, I haven't driven on this game, obviously by size and safety car, but that's tinkering around at 100k an hour. But I haven't driven on this game since Silverstone. Mac and Bingo are probably around the same, so we're timing our run beautifully, Trev. So we're going to lead into next Friday night and be absolutely all firing.
Boy, that is going to be absolutely terrific. Knock back a few other jobs in the commentary game to be with you all on the Friday night and the Sunday night. And absolutely fantastic. Can anyone, Chuck Norris, beat a 142.225 from Mint Matte? I think he's gone even quicker there, and now he's 4/10 ahead of Willstar in second. Can anybody go quicker than that, in your learned opinion?
Yeah, I mean, these cars are traditionally a little bit slower than our normal GT3s that we would run, but the 42.2, that's a really rapid time, in my opinion, for the GTR. I don't know if I've got any benchmarks that I can go on, but if we can get a driver into the 41s, I think it might be Mint Matt.
And let's have a look here. He's got a bit of traffic ahead of him. Nismo Nath, he'll be hoping for a clean race tonight and a clean qualifying session as Mint Matt comes across the line. And that he is done for qualifying. We do apologise about missing the first part of qualifying. I think we've got some guys coming around to complete their laps. We'll go.
Yes, yeah, they are. So Nick's going into the last corner now. He jumps up to P8. Next is Mr. Good Vibes, Good Vibrations. He's him and his brother Urban Ghost. They're actually making their endurance debut next week, so that's going to be good to see. But here comes Vibesy through the last corner in the bright yellow Nissan. Cross the line, currently P16, and stays there. Next will be Kilroy in P15. Crossing the line now. And then we'll go to Mayo, Mark, Aaron Thomas, and Nemo. The last. And now to Mayo in P10.
Let's have a look at Mayo there, P10. He can't improve. Mark across the line, along with Jono. What have they done? We've got Auschwitz, who's back in the pits. And that is all she wrote for qualifying here in this 10-minute qualifying session, ladies and gentlemen. And you can see there Mint Matt getting the quickest time in his class. First for Matthew Simmons. And Glasso says, can I race in my Ferrari? LOL. The thing was a rocket last night. And one Ferrari taking on the rest of the bricks. And how are we feeling today? The Princess chucked up a pole. 60% excellent, 20% average, 20% not so good. But there we have it. Great stuff in the chat. Get amongst it, ladies and gentlemen. And we've moved on from our technical issues. Going further down the grid, Willstar there in second. Gavea, the German rifle, one of a few drivers looking to capitalise on Simon Bishop not being here tonight. Sorry, boys, missing tonight. Some stuff is going down, says Beaky. And who voted not good, please reach out. We want to give you some hugs in the chat. And the Prince will be giving out free hugs. And hoping you're doing okay out there, Beaky. And we'll just go back to the timetable there. So Willstar second, Gavea third, Markle in fourth. Pole position in his class. And then, of course, it is Jimbo.
Suck my balls, man. Yeah, you're really good.
Thank you. Thank you for that, Jimbo. And just getting amongst the sound effects. I'm not going to tell you to redeem those coins because we know what happened last night. There was a bloody run on, and next thing all I could hear was go, 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 suck my balls, honey, and all the rest of it. But we might. I think we've got a long formation lap coming up. Full formation lap.
I've got an announcement to make first.
Stand by.
Announcement. So, obviously, the next 2 weeks we are not racing in KRL. We've got that time off for the Enduro, which is next week. But then the final round is Bathurst on the 13th and 14th of December. Now, traditionally, KRL, we run a top 10 shootout in reverse championship order. But because we have so many guys racing these days, normally, if you're outside the top 10, you'll have the first 5 minutes to set a time, but having 15 or so cars trying to set a time in 5 minutes could cause some carnage. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a split quali format. So it's going to be a 25-minute session, or 20, yeah, we'll work it exactly, but yeah, 25-minute session. The first 10 minutes are for only the AM and Pro Am
I got
cars,
fastest lap too.
and then there'll be a little 5-minute sort of window, and then the last 10 minutes will be only the Pro drivers. So hopefully that means, obviously Bathurst with 30 cars, Bathurst is a big track, but the time difference between Pro and AMs could be quite high. So I think this will be the best thing we can do, so having a split sort of quality format. So it gives the guys in the AM and Pro-Am field a chance to shine, because they'll be popping up in P1, P2, and you'll be able to sort of get more stream time for a lot of the guys that don't normally get it. And then, of course, it sets up for the pro guys having their championship battle to be fighting for pole in that last 10 minutes when there's only about 8 or 10 of them on track. So it sort of is a shootout, but not the official shootout we normally run.
Fantastic, and we hope you've got all of that at home and mark it down in your diaries, because that is a massive announcement. And meanwhile, here on the grid, we've got Matt Willstar alongside him. We won't go through all of those. They're on your screen. Wilco, I think we've got a full formation lap. And Matty Simmons saying, Jason, that wasn't an announcement. That was a story.
I realised as soon as I started talking, I probably should have maybe simplified it a bit.
Oh, shit, I lost you halfway through. But anyway, that's...
This didn't cut out.
No,
this call has been disconnected.
Your call could not be connected. Please check the number and try again. Okay, now we might head to a quick intro, shall we, gentlemen, before we get underway on this formation lap. 10 seconds. Thank you, Race Control. We're going to go to our Andrelli intro, the famous KRL intro, and we'll be back with the formation lap in just a few moments. Do not go anywhere. It's round 6 of this championship in the Liam Neeson series. Back right after this. Let's get on with it. 3, 2, 1. We're almost ready. Are you ready? Go, go, go! Green, and away we go. Summer Series 25 drivers streaming down into turn 1, and already Wilco looks like he's got the jump on Albert and takes the lead, but Albert is not done with yet. He's going to go around there. Sexy Rexy, yibbida, folks, down there in 4th, and all the while this is giving Wilco the chance to pull out in front. Themselves up here in the opening lap, but Bob, it's been hectic, but not quite as hectic as what I thought it would be. Down the inside of Sideways, is it going to work, Bob, or is it going to end in tears? I think it's come off. Yes, it has. And it's Wilco with a nose in front as we come through to complete the lap. Sideorg, our winner from last week and championship leader, King in there as well. And don't tell me Wilco could have gone from 1st to 3rd in a matter of corners here, Bob. I reckon he's lost the lead, and he could be down to 3rd by the end of the opening lap.
There's not going to be fucking chaos.
Bit of a different format.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are almost through the formation lap. We've got a few corners to go, and Wilco, it appears that some of our learned colleagues have had some issues on the formation lap, most notably Binger, and somebody else has, I think it might have been Mac who ran into some trouble. Welcome.
Let's get through it.
Welcome along to Spawn as well. We're ready to go racing here, ladies and gentlemen. Mintmat and Willstar are going to lead them away for round 6 of this championship. The Nissan GTR series from Kyalami in South Africa. You can see there 20 drivers ready to get underway here. And there's a couple in the pit lane as well, like Wilco mentioned. But perfect. Perfect timing, Chuck Norris. There it is. Go, go, go! And you can see Willstar taking the early lead, getting a nose in front of Mint Matt. But boy, you've got to get up early in the morning to beat Matt Simmons into P1 in the opening corner. Let's just hope and pray. Thoughts and prayers with everybody trying to get through turns 1 and 2 on this opening lap, because we saw all of the shenanigans that happened last night in the GT3s. But Matt leads, Willstar second, Gavea, I'm here, let's go and play.
Someone's around. Yep, okay, we've got another safety car.
And we've got a safety
Whiz.
car. Safety car, yes indeedy. Yep-a-rooney. Thank you, Ned. And we've got a safety car, that is right, out on the track. Of course, where else would it bloody be, Nigerian Prince? Because the safety car is coming out. That is the man, Jason Wilkinson, who will leave us with his presence.
So
Box. And let's hope we see more drivers taking advantage of this effectively free pit stop, Chuck Norris, because we saw half of the drivers pit last night and half of them didn't.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was still trying to wrap my head around it. Even today, waking up, I went back and watched back on the stream, and I'm like, guys, why didn't you take the opportunity? It's a golden freebie, as they like to call it. Wilco ignoring the pit lines. It's not very safety of him. But yeah, hopefully they'll decide to jump in. It would be good to see them all jump in, get their free stop done, even though it's very early. It's their one and only opportunity to get it done.
And you can see there Glasso saying he had no choice but to pit last night. And you can see there Gavea now into the lead. We've got Mint Matt. And look at them, they're all coming in now. They've all got P's against their name. Willstar, Sofa, Jono, Megan Markle, Mayo, Nismo, Exorcist, and Nemo into the pits as well. Beautiful looking livery there for finding Nemo into the pits. They're all coming in. And we've got Kick It and Rip It staying out along with Auschwitz and Gavea. Can they come in next time around here, Chuck Norris? They're electing to stay out for track position, but they're going to lose, well, the best part of a minute or so if they do not pit, which is very interesting. We saw it last night, like we mentioned, but surely they've got to come in.
Yeah, so obviously the safety car holds 100k an hour as we go around. So I don't know whether this is a masterclass strategy in a way that they're hoping to get around and into pit lane and out, and they can retain P1. But I don't know, they might not find themselves in that same position again.
Well, I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen because I think we've got Mint Matt coming around the barbecue there. And I think they're going to catch up to him. I don't think they're going to have time here, Chuck Norris, to come in, make a stop, unless, I guess tyres aren't an issue at the moment, are they, given we're so early in the race? So they won't need that extra time to change onto a new set of boots, but still, it's going to be touch and go, isn't it? And you can see, look how slow, you said there, Chuck Norris, that safety car only rolling along at 100 clicks. Oh, and we've got some drive-through penalties for Thomas and Kilroy.
Another good thing in a way about that is by the time everybody gets onto the back of the safety car, they're definitely going to be going around for one more lap. So these guys, unfortunately, they've got to drive through, but they're going to be able to get away with serving that penalty for free effectively. We don't know when the safety car is going to go green, but effectively they can get rid of their drive-through, and they've completed their pit stop requirement, and they might even be able to claw back onto the back of the safety car train before it goes green, Trev. So,
well, this is...
yeah, it's an interesting one.
Interesting. This is disaster for Kick It and Rip It. Good news for Aaron and Kilroy, of course, like you said, Prince, who can come in and providing, I think, yep, we are definitely going to have another lap of the safety car. I think one more lap, do you reckon, Prince, before we see that safety car come in?
Yeah, I reckon it might be towards the end of this lap. So still Gavea, Auschwitz and Kick It and Rip It still opting to stay out. So do they know something about the weather that we don't, Trev?
Well, they could very well know something that we don't know. But I know something you don't know. But Kick It and Rip It looks to have some damage to that car as well. So he's been involved in some kind of incident early on in the opening stages of this race. So our leader is Gavea. Mandatory pit stops, of course. If you are new to KRL, welcome to you. One pit stop for fuel. Tyres are optional, Prince, but they add an additional 5 seconds to your time. A 50-minute race as well. And Gavea leading from Auschwitz, and Kilroy in the pits now, getting rid of that drive-through penalty. And really, Matt's got some sandblasting action happening on the side of that car, but given once these first three, they're going to, obviously they've got track position here, Nigerian Prince, but they are going to have to come in eventually at some point. And we're just waiting for word to see whether this safety car will be in this lap. Will Wilco be kind and generous enough to let a few of those cars at the back of the field get back into position, do we think, Chuck? Or is he going to be a little Nazi and just come in straight away?
No, I think I do have a feeling safety car is going to come in this lap. So on the run down the hill, just after we climb up it, we should see Wilco peel off, and then the safety car will come in, because at least 90%, if not 100% of the grid is going to be onto the back of this train by the time we get there. So unfortunate for Gavea, Auschwitz and Kick It and Rip It, because they lost their free pit stop opportunity. They're not going to get it again. So even the two lads that got a drive-through penalty, they still served it, and they're almost onto the back of that train. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting one for the top three provisionally, but Mint Matt is going to be P1 overall, I think, retaining.
Well, there we have it. So Wilco has made the mad dash to the pit lane. We'll get back to our leader, which is, for the time being, Gavea, the young German there in P1. And Spawn Racing just saying, win it or bin it again. That's been his philosophy so far. As we're going to get ready, the safety car is in this lap. I think it's in. I think we're almost ready to go here. Chuck Norris, we had a safety car on the opening lap or so last night. We've had it here again. Gavea coming around, safety car into the pits. We're almost ready to go racing. In fact, we are going racing. And geez, did Gavea get a jump on Auschwitz there? The two Germans in first and second. And they'll be thinking, how good is this Wiener Schnitzel here at the moment? They're first and second, yet to stop though.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't want to pull the pin too early, but Gavea not adhering to the safety car rules might get a penalty applied to him. You're meant to hold a certain kilometre an hour on the restart according to the rules. So
and
yeah,
kick
it's
it.
going to be. Oh no!
Kick it and rip it. Sorry to cut over you there, Chuck Norris, but
No,
he is
okay.
off the track and back into the pit lane. So that's one of the three that had not made their stops. Gavea, look at that. He is absolutely on the ragged edge, and he's throwing that car. I'm not sure whether that might be in the rule book, but he seemed to get away very quickly there, Chuck. Like you mentioned, once that safety car peeled off, he should have really stayed with that pack there. We know that the leader is the one who dictates the pace, but he's almost got a 4-second lead out of that, Chuck.
Yeah, exactly, and you know, it's definitely going to be one that's, I think, going to be thrown to the stewards a little bit later, because yeah, you're meant to hold a certain kilometre an hour pace, keep the gap built together, but unfortunately there was a big margin between the restart zone and where we were actually meant to restart. So yeah, that's going to be one for the stewards later. But unfortunate for Kick It and Rip It though, the car just looked like it bottomed out completely on the curb and just threw him into the fence. So hopefully he can get back out eventually and still circulate. So
we're looking at HC Lewis, who's made a move here on Aaron Thomas. They're battling further down the field, 17th and 18th on track. Nemo there as well, battling with, I think that might be Exorcist in front of him, I believe, yep. And then the famous green and yellow shade of Binger King. And if there's ever a man who can rock a Nissan with green wheels, it's this man, Nigerian Prince. Very synonymous with the green and yellow bricks.
Yeah, it does look good. You know, Binger, the iconic, back in the classic days of KRL, you know, you throw it back a few seasons, Trev, and he ran I almost said BMW. He ran the Nissan as one of his main cars, and I can tell you personally, I had to race against Binger when he was in the Nissan, and that man is a weapon.
He certainly is. And Nemo And Nemo is right behind him. Now this man, would you believe this, he messaged me during the week, and every time I talk to Nemo, I always have a habit of mentioning his cricketing achievements here, but just get a load of... Oh, and somebody off! Who was that?
Binger.
Binger? No way! Have we put the commentator's curse on him? I think we might have. Oh,
Yeah,
he's got damage. He's stationary. And now he's going to Shadow Realm teleport back into the pits, I think. He's not moving. He's not moving. Somebody send the medical team out to him, Chuck Norris, because he is going to levitate back into the pits.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Binger was one of the ones, Wilco can correct me in a minute. I'm fair sure Binger was one of the last minute call-ins, decided, you know what, I'm going to race tonight, and jumped in and thought he'd have a crack. And yeah, unfortunate for him. I know he's very quick in the car, and I might have commentator cursed him in a way, but yeah, it's unfortunate to see his race kind of end so quickly.
And Glasso just letting us know the stewards are getting a workout this week. Boy, oh boy, never a truer word spoken, that's for sure. We've seen a few incidents so far in this round 6 of KRL for season 5. Now, did I mention that Nemo messaged me during the week and told me about his bowling figures? There he is. Get a load of this. 13 overs, 2 maidens, 7 for 33. Look at that. What about those figures? And look at that, he's well and truly earned that beer after taking his 7 for 33 there. He wanted me to mention that throughout the course of the week, and I stuck to my word, I stuck to my guns, and decided to include him into the stream. We love him, Nemo, and his previous best was 5 for 5 for the Auckland second 11 against Invercargill down there in the South Island. But 7 for 33, absolutely marvellous figures those. And we're going to head back to the front, because I've got to tell you that Gavea, the man who just perhaps was a bit of a naughty boy on the safety car restart and did not adhere to the regulations.
I've watched it.
No.
I've watched it back, so I was wondering what happened.
I think he...
I think the German brothers were playing a little bit of a strategy game there. Gavea held his speed at 100 k's, which is what everyone's meant to do. Oshwitz was going down like 80 k's and going fast and slow, fast and slow, fast and slow, and was letting Gavea sort of get away. And as Gavea's gone through the last corner, Oshwitz was just dawdling at 80 k an hour. So I think they tried to do a little sneaky thing, which is going to be looked at, and penalties will be applied, because that's just a bit ridiculous, really. You don't need to. You guys didn't pit. That's your fault for not pitting. You can't then try and back up the field to give yourselves a gap. And then back to why Matt has damage. I went back and watched that too. So again, Oshwich slams the brakes on. Kick and Rippet has nowhere to go. He slams the brakes on. Then Matt has to slam the brakes on. And it means that, and that was on the under safety car, by the way. And that means that Matt then gets hit behind from Will, because everyone's just slammed the brakes on. And that's again against the rules. You don't slow hit the brakes under safety car. It's one of the rules. So I think some people might be getting some penalties post race, which would be awesome to do.
Well, they might be sitting. Look at this, Matt up into P4 at the moment. He's gone past Sofa King and Jono as well, and Mayo there further back along with Nismo. But Matt, you heard the explanation from Wilco. That's why he does have that damage there, but I don't think it's slowing him down too much at this point in time. Willstar a little bit further down the road, 5 seconds further down the road, and then it's Auschwitz. The German brothers, very unlike a couple of Germans to employ suspicious tactics when it comes to motor racing, and we just think back to the old Schumacher days, waiting for Wilco to make some sort of joke about that. But yes, you can see there's some very strange tactics, and I've got to say, Chuck Norris, these two could be heading to the cooler post-race once the stewards have a look at it.
Yeah, a couple of people are definitely not getting Christmas cards this year, and you hate to see it, Trev. I love getting my Christmas cards. Sometimes when they've got a little bit of money in them, they can send me a Christmas card with some money in it if they want to buy my Stewards review. But no, it's definitely not the way to go. There's rules in place for a reason, and rules are not meant to be broken.
No, it might be irrelevant though, I reckon, by the end of tonight, given that the two Germans have not made a box and stop. That's probably the only way they're going to understand what they've done, I reckon, is if we speak to them in their native tongue. But Auschwitz is the fastest lap of the race. And that's what happens when you tinkle on down the road and forget about the safety car regulations. But Wilstar is in third and Matt is in fourth. And of course, Simon Bishop not racing tonight. And that'll be big news for I think he's got a pretty healthy lead though, Chuck Norris, in the championship. And that will put him in a good position still, despite missing this week. Is he going to be back for Bathurst next week? Do we know that yet? Oh, something going on there.
Possibly. I just want to quickly add in, just in case they want it in their own native language. Du angeston gonna jage kenne wishabodwa for the ditch.
Yep. It sounds like Con.
Very German, yeah.
Sounds like Con, my local noodle box owner there, going in for a box of Thai green curry. But 33 minutes to go in this race, and you've got to just say there's so much to play out here at the moment. Wilstar is sitting pretty there at the moment, but we know Matt is can never be underestimated.
Matt's got massive damage. Matt, his rear bumper is flapping, so he's going to be struggling to even have top speed, that he's going to be that slow. So Sofa King just needs to be patient here, and Matt's rear wing's actually bent, so that's how much sort of damage he's got. So not ideal.
See a lot of damage in that no square.
And you can see there, well, he might be flapping he might be flapping back at the chasing pack, and he needs every bit of skill required here. And you don't just win GT Academy without being as good as this man. But Sofa King, he's battling on there, trying to pursue Matt. Jono, is there a bit of a Matt Simmons train here, Chuck Norris, at the moment? He's trying to keep that brick as wide as he can, but he's struggling here at the moment.
Yeah, so it's disappointing that he's got the damage onto the back of the car and stuff like that. He was definitely very quick during qualifying. He was definitely outstanding on that front, and he's going to be a man of class if he can manage to hold this one off, because there's a lot of drivers that want to find their way past, but everyone's an equal machinery, and probably just about the same setup, I would dare say. And yeah, it's going to be tough to get past, but yeah, I do hope that he can kind of hold it off. Although there is a big gap to Wilstar at the moment.
And look at this battle further down the field. We've got Nick looking to have a go at Nismo, Nathan. This man needs a clean race. He sure does, that's for sure, because let me tell you, he's been in the wars, my friend Nismo, and the man from Hooncorp runs Hooncorp, and just recently accepted his friendship request on Facebook and made it official. Oh, they like to take It's interesting, those lines into turn one there, Chuck. Some drivers looking to take the wider line, some looking to cut in closer to the apex of turn one there, but Nick is looking for an opportunity. Nismo using the curbs, trying to keep in front of Nick, and then it's Nemo also getting involved in this, and then HC Lewis, who's all on his own here at the moment, but he's in P13 on the track. And who else have we got further down here, Chuck? We've got Vibesy, EXO, and a few others there.
There's a good battle with a newcomer, I believe. Jackery might be new, and he's got a good battle with Kilroy and Aaron as well. So it's all kicking off, Trev.
Certainly is. Kilroy has a cheeky look down the inside. Wow, he's lost out there to Kilroy, has Jackery, and now Aaron Thomas, who's another newcomer, I believe. I think we've seen him once or twice before, but Aaron Thomas there. Racing very racy there, and Kick It and Rip It is 3 laps down, and there is Wilco sitting in that safety car twiddling his thumbs at the moment as Gavea comes across the line. What is that gap, I hear you ask at home? And please, evening gents, what did I miss, says Shawnee Fuller. Well, I missed his comment. I feel terrible now, I missed his comment there, Shawnee Fuller, but we did have a few technical issues. But we managed to kick off midway through qualifying, and then you missed the start there, Shawnee Fuller, because we had the safety car out. I think every time since we brought the safety car rule back in, Chuck, we've had nothing but disaster on the opening lap.
No, we
Yeah.
did last week in the Nissan race.
Oh,
Last week in this
Jono.
race was alright.
Jono there getting all up in Sofa King's business. I thought they made contact there, Wilco, but Burra saying, let's go, Willstar. He's sitting pretty there, effectively P1, but the two German brothers yet to make their stops. So we'll wait and see what happens there. But Matt still holding on. Can he hold on, Wilco, for another 30 minutes? That's the question. You can see that damage on the rear of his car. And Sofa King will be ready to pounce. Jono there as well, along with Mayo. Great to have you with us, Burra Dog. Rain of Fire there. Loves getting involved in the KRL chat, but he's out there. He's busy. And he's third in his class, 8th overall on track. And then it's Mark and Nismo. And then Nemo right up behind Nick here at the moment. He's sort of going through the pack with him at the moment. He's currently in P12 on track. And who else have we got here? We've got Jackery. And I think we've got Kick It and Rip It in the pits again, Chuck Norris. He's already 3 laps down, so I wonder what this could possibly be for his mandatory pit stop, getting it out of the way.
Yeah, I assume this will be his mandatory pit stop getting completed here. So it'll be good to see him get it done. Unfortunately, the early mistake of not coming in, he was one of the 3 drivers. Obviously, the front 2 runners didn't complete the stop during the safety car. Kick and Rip It was the 3rd driver that didn't complete it and then went green and unfortunately found himself in the fence. So he teleported back to pit lane and he's getting his mandatory stop done now. But I will be back, lads. I'm just going to go put the dragon to sleep and close the house up. So I'll be back in a little bit.
Is that code for something else?
He's got a...
No, the dragon.
I'm joking.
That's all right. We'll let you go.
Godzilla.
He'll breathe fire at me, man. He'll eat me. Have you seen him? He's a unit.
Don't you absolutely love those old Godzilla movies? What did you see? Godzilla! And then the plasticine Godzilla comes out. But there's a moment. Someone had a moment there at the barbecue corner. But look at this battle. Jason Wilkinson, multiple KRL champion, joining us in the commentary box. Also drives the safety car, if you don't mind. And you can see, look at this, Jimbo right up behind Exo. And these two are having a battle in their respective class. And I'm enjoying every second of this, Wilco.
Yeah, they're having a good one. Hopefully they stay nice and clean. And yeah, the Jimbo's, yeah, as I said, he's back on the wheel for the first time in a few years. He's been on it for the last 2 weeks, I think it is. So yeah, he's still sort of working his way back up to how he's got to race.
Jimbo
as he goes down the inside.
Down the inside.
Does a clean move.
Look at this. You sound surprised, Wilco, but he's got it done. Jimbo getting it done there on Exo. That is for position in class. Jackery out there as well in 3rd position for these boys. And I think I might be 4th in their class as well. That's right. But there we have it. If one of them drops out, I might be up for a podium interview. But 12 laps been completed here. It is Gavea Zoom. That is German for he is going very, very fast, yeah. And 12 laps into this race, Auschwitz, the second of the 2 German brothers. And we realised in an interview recently with them that they are actually half German. And that made my day. But Willstar now in front. Is he your favourite at the moment, Wilco? We know anything can really happen in the next 26 minutes.
Will's in the box seat here. Yeah, box seat. You guys saw last night with Matt and Figo and stuff not making their pit stop under the safety car. They come out in around P10 or something. So, yeah, the German brothers are going to do the same. Again, not sure why they wouldn't pit under the safety car. But as I said, I'm already looking at the safety car restart there when Auschwitz has just decided to try and back up the pack, which, as I said, is against the rules.
Yes, initially it looked like Gavea might have sped off into the distance, but I think it might have been the opposite. Auschwitz just slowing up a little bit, which created the illusion that he was speeding off into the distance. If anything, the issues that Matt is facing here, Wilco, with his damage is almost helping Willstar, isn't it? Holding up the rest of this pack.
Yeah, Matt's doing whatever he can because he knows this is effectively going to be P2. So he's trying everything he can to keep in front. He's obviously so much slower a lap now because Yeah, was he on pole or was he top 2? I can't remember. It was that long ago
I think
now.
it
But
might have been pole, yep. But and you can
yeah,
see last
so
time around, 11.3. It was 10 seconds last time around, Wilco, and now it is 11.3 seconds. So it's almost a second a lap. As race control gives us the message, where is the best opportunity to pass? You've got a damaged car in front, albeit an incredibly skilled driver. We know all of that. We know all of his history, or at least I do. But where would the best position to be, in your opinion, Wilco, to get this move done and try to get past Matt and then release Sofa King and the rest of them behind him?
yeah, Jimbo's had a slide. Yeah, Matt, as I said, he can just do what he can do. He can just make sure he doesn't make mistakes, which is, very rare. But of course, with a damaged car, let alone a damaged Nissan, it's not going to be an easy feat. As Sofa King, yeah, he's been patient, which is good. That's one thing he's been working on, is just his patience and overtaking. And at the moment, he's doing well.
So yellow flags out there briefly, but all clear now. And more than half the race have gone. And if you're wondering where Chuck Norris is, he's off closing up his Dragon, and he'll be back very, very shortly. And Gavea is into the pits. I was about to say, Wilco.
And Oshwas.
So the two Germans are in the pits, and wow, do you think this is a good idea at the moment? I guess, would they have benefited from maybe Sofa King if Sofa King couldn't get past Matt, or is it just a matter of getting the pit stop out of the way so you got more time to chase the rest of them? And given Matt's got damage, could they potentially do something later on?
Yeah, maybe, but they're going to have to pass a lot of cars as Nemo is around. He's hit the wall.
Oh no! And he's reversed back, and this is a man who took 7 for 33 for old Auckland 11 there. And you can see now 7 for 33, back onto the racing line. And he is back in business there. Let's see, they've dropped well down the field, haven't they here? We'll go look at that.
Look at Gavea and Oshwas. They've come out in P17 and 18, I think it is. So yeah, they've got 40 seconds behind Matt. They're not going to catch it up in 22 minutes, and I reckon they're going to even struggle to get into that top sort of 8. I reckon they got a lot of cars to pass.
So, and that's not, like you said, not even thinking about the rest of the cars. And Voodoo is back. He's closed up the house and his Dragon and his Lizard, and he's got a vodka as well. And welcome back, Chuck Norris. We were just discussing there, while you're away, the two German brothers have come into the pits, and they've done their box and stops, and they are well down the field, so they very much are out of the equation here at the moment. The gap, Willstar now resumes his effective position of P1 here in this race. 12.3 seconds is the gap. And everybody now, Chuck Norris, have made their pit stops, so it effectively is a sprint right to the end in the next 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I've been watching the gap between Willstar and Matt for a little while, and I also did notice Willstar's got a bit of damage to the front of his car, and Matt's got damage to the rear of his as well. So it's interesting. Some are losing aero at the front, and some are losing aero at the rear, which is obviously compounding on the time differences. But the gap is definitely growing. It went from about 6 or 8 seconds up to this 12 seconds now, so Matt definitely struggling, but he's doing his very best, and he's doing well to hold off Sofa.
Certainly is. Sofa King, the man you mentioned there, in P3, first in his class, and then it's Jono, and they're dropping back a little bit here now. Jono, 1.3 behind Sofa, then it's Mayo, 1.1 further back, Rain of Fire, but Mark right up behind Rain of Fire here. This battle continuing for a podium position here in their respective classes tonight. One make series, of course, the Nissan GTRs here at Kyalami, November the 30th. One round to go after this one, and which is in a couple of weeks, of course, isn't it? Mark having a moment there. And wow, that was very scary stuff there, Wilco. I thought we've seen a few drivers go off at that corner, and he's managed to just keep it together. Thank goodness for that. But is that just getting some marbles and other bits of dirt and dust onto the tyres, Wilco? And Ajax Ajax Spray and Wipe is rating us with a party, Chuck Norris. How good is that? Because I think that means he sends his viewers over to us.
Yeah, Aaron, thank you so much for sharing your wonderful community with us here with Trev. How did your race go? Can you give us a bit of an insight as to how you went at Watkins Glen tonight?
Yeah, I went pretty well actually. Yeah, Watkins Glen's always.
I'm waiting for the comment, Trev.
And we'll let him do that. Sorry, just force of habit. Join us in following Ajax.
Suck my balls, mate. Yeah,
Suck my
you're really
balls,
good.
honey. Thank you, Ajax. And boy, that man, shout out given to the great man Ajax there. Jump across to his channel. And wow, I didn't know you could do that. You click your little love heart there and you can follow him. How good is that? Sorry, had ads, said Ajax. Not a problem there. And the adverts, of course. I led the race for a few laps, he says.
I got fastest lap too.
Oh.
Oh, look at you go.
And that's all right. I was waiting for another one, and it didn't. We redeemed the salty Wilco there, coming in with the coins, ladies and gentlemen. We are under 20 minutes left in this race. Where are the battles? We've got Jimbo Jones right up behind Vimesy here. This is looking spicy, and look how spicy it is here between Exorcist, Nemo, the man that took 7 for 33 for Wellington the other day. Where's the Psydog? Chuck Norris, can you please explain that he has gone to the Shadow Realm, being Barcelona for the GT World Series?
Yeah, so Psydog, he's gone to go get milk, and as when Dad goes to get the ciggies and the milk, he tends to take a little bit, and he's decided to go and get milk and ciggies over in Barcelona for the Gran Turismo GT World Tour, I believe it's called. So, yeah, we'll hopefully be graced with his presence for Bathurst in, I believe, 3 weeks' time.
Oh, look at this battle. Exo runs wide. That's going to give a chance for Kilroy and the German rifle to get through there. And let's hope, big shout out to our man Psydog, Simon Bishop, of course, racing over there in Barcelona. I've got 3 million Gran Turismo credits riding on Team New Zealand. And if I win that, of course, that'll be, I think I only need another 12 million to buy the MP4 McLaren. That's how it works on Gran Turismo. But you can see there now, Nemo is through and clear of the Exorcist there. And Exorcist Gavea is through. Kilroy has been the real loser out of that, Chuck Norris. Pretty much everybody's gone by there on this occasion, and Gavea is also through. So Kilroy now down to P16 on track. And you can see there's some very spicy racing as we've got Jackery into the pits. And what happened there?
Did somebody disconnect? Was it Kilroy?
And
did Kilroy DC? I think he did.
Well, you can see there we had 20 drivers, I think, didn't we, prior to that? So, wow, P1, that's a good result. Let's go, says Chuck Norris. And that'll buff out very nicely, says Ajax. And you can see they're raiding this channel. Great to have you with us, ladies and gentlemen. If you're out there watching, you know what to do. Hit that follow button as we continue to march to 300 followers. Chuck Norris is there already. That's where we want to be. And we want to head to the promised land and hit the 300 follower mark. Willstar leads. He's our favourite. But 14.4 seconds. Little return, gents. Have to get out of the sweaty sim. Great stuff. But Matt's still holding on here, Jason Wilkinson. This is an incredible drive. If he can get that thing at a P2 with the damage he's got, I'm going to be very, very excited talking to him post-race.
Yeah, and I'm sure he's going to be excited himself because he's driving the wheels off the thing at the moment. He's doing really well.
15 minutes remaining in this race. It is Willstar leading by plenty here at the moment. Yellow flag. Is that Jimbo having a moment? It is Jimbo having a moment. I just saw a flash of the car number 91 there, and he's got his bonnet flapping around in the breeze. You can see there it's flapping around all over the place, and he'll have to get something to stick that down with, Chuck. because that is some serious damage on the front end of that brick.
Yeah, it's not ideal. A lot of drivers are running into the walls here with the Liam Nissan series, so it's unfortunate. Kyalami, you feel like there's such a lot of track that you wouldn't really find yourself into the fence, but typical with the whirlwind of emotions and racing that this track brings, you find yourself into that fence pretty quickly. So very unfortunate for Jimbo and a lot of other drivers involved, but these battles here, especially this one with Gavea and Nemo, and not far up the road is Vibesy trying to fend this off. This is all, this is getting pretty tense here, Trev. 14 minutes on the clock. It's heating up. I'm looking forward to this.
It is 14 minutes and counting. Look at Gavea. He's got to just be patient. Nothing silly here as the German passes the Kiwi. But I reckon Nemo's not quite done with this now. They're 3 wide. Heading down the start-finish straight here. Gavea slots in behind them, but he's got to be careful here, Wilco, because they're having their own little battle. And Kilroy disconnected. And that is breaking news via Discord. And I think Gavea now has taken the both of them, Wilco. He's got that move done. Very nicely done.
Yeah, and he's doing well. I'm still watching the battle with Sofa King and Matt. Jono's sort of dropped off a second. Jono's dropped off a second, but yeah, Gavea's slowly working his way back up. Oshwiz is a bit further back, sort of stuck in that pack now, but yeah, still not over yet. But Willstar in his first race of the season looks like he could win tonight's race.
1 from 1. You can see the championship standings there. It's been Seidorg first, second in Germany, I should say, at the Nürburgring, and Gavea it was winning his home race at the Nürburgring. And you can see there's still a healthy lead for Seidorg. We'll get that out of your way, ladies and gentlemen. But 13 minutes to go in this race. And if you're ever looking for something to do on the weekends, Wilco, just remember that we've still got that co-op career mode season saved. If you ever want to jump in again before the next game comes out. But let's have a look. Sofa King, he's trying everything. He's got his bag of tricks there, and he's trying to pull a rabbit out of the hat there, Chuck. What I'm trying to say, Chuck Norris, is he's trying everything to get past Matt, but Matt has got up far too early in the morning to fall for that.
Yeah, he's definitely been trying his hardest. Matt's he's a miracle worker at the moment. The damage that not only he's carrying, I'm sure a lot of other drivers have got a bit of damage as well that they're trying to navigate around the circuit with. But Sofa King, he keeps into the draft, which is where you need to be. But, I think a part of it might be looking in that mirror, knowing Jono stands ready to pounce whenever, the opportunity arises.
Certainly is, and wow, we haven't seen our man Wagyu, he's not a beef burger, is he? But Waggy last night. And
Raggy.
Ah, yes. Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you? We've got a race to stream now. Okay, and looking for a Scooby snack. He's not going to hold back, is he? But Jono now, less than a second, gets in there, Lewis. And Lewis is with us here, and he is texting. And we've got a yellow flag there. Somebody off at
Nemo.
the hairpin. Nemo is back in the pits. And the man who absolutely dominated with 7 for 33 now is off the track and in the pit lane, and I don't think we're going to see him. We may see him in the next 11 minutes. We'll wait and see. But basically what I'm saying is there's still a chance for him. But Lewis says, I'm so lonely. I'm lonely again. And that's terrible news for him. But Sofa King, I cannot take my corneas off this battle. Yes! Yes, and Nemo has just subscribed, and he says he has officially retired, not from cricket, but look at those figures once again. 13 overs, 2 maidens, 7 for 33. Glenn McGrath-like figures, those. Sounds a little bit like Denny Morrison, doesn't it? We'll get rid of Nemo, the gigantic Godzilla-like Nemo on the screen. And Lewis has 10 seconds of damage, not as bad as the safety car boards and flags thing. Remember the other week it took up the whole damn screen, didn't it, before I resized it back into its appropriate position. Wilco's sitting there thinking, what on earth is he talking about? Because I'm trying to watch this battle here in Carrum Downs, and you keep shitting on about other stuff. But Jono, don't count Jono out of this battle either, because he's still right there, isn't he, Chuck Norris, in the mix of things?
Yeah, Jono's just biding his time, hoping something happens and he can make his way through, because this curve that they're about to go through sometimes jumps out. I think it's called the crocodile. If it is, it's a fitting name for it, because sometimes it does jump out and it goes for the legs.
Certainly does. Oh, wow, look at this. Yeah, oh, crikey, yeah. And, wow, if I ever get a hold of that Stingray, he's going to be in some trouble. But Sofa King now is still in third position. And, yeah, telling the world about your 7 for 33 the other week, Nemo. Absolutely stunning figures. Marvellous figures. And Jono with his nose right up Sofa King's ginger. And as much as he wants to get past Mint Matt, he's very much wedged between these two cars, the two Nissans with the exact same livery, albeit Matt's got a little bit more damage than Jono. But he's got to look in his mirrors as well here, Wilco, because Jono is a bit like Carlton the other year with the finals. He's coming, and he's coming now.
Yeah, and then unfortunately he's going to follow Carlton. He's going to fall on his arse end and, and go out pretty quickly.
Yep, don't forget they had a 5-goal lead in the preliminary final against Brisbane, and they managed to bottle that one. But something happened to Gavea, we're hearing, and what has happened to the German? Well, he's right up behind Vibesy, and he's doing more than having a look here. He could potentially go for a move. Thank you, Lewis, for bringing that to our attention. Going out wide, you're not going to win too many friends out there, that's for sure, in that part of the track. The crocodile and the cheetah. I won't do a cheetah noise tonight, but the cheetah has caught out a few victims over the course of this round 6 of KRL, of course, in the GT3s and tonight. But Auschwizard and Nick, the German brothers, they'll be lucky, I think, Chuck, to get inside the top 10 as Gavea. Is he going to get this move done? Vibesy is not giving an inch here at the moment, but now he gets the move done. He's down the hill. Is Vibesy going to concede? I think he has now, Chuck Norris.
Yeah, that was a nice move to hang it around the outside there by Gavea. So Vibesy unfortunately lost out on that one with the inside line, the favourable line. But I'm sure he's still going to be right in on the action there. Vibesy, although racing in a separate class, so he's doing quite well, and hopefully he can maintain that gap.
And we've got to start thinking, I'm just thinking Will Star now, this might not be the worst result. We know Simon Bishop will be over there. He'll watch this stream back, Wilco. It might not be the worst result for him here tonight, because a lot of his key championship rivals haven't really cashed in, have they, in this race?
No, not yet. And he was quite comfortably in the lead of this series. It was the GT3 series that he was only just in the lead. And, well, at the moment, going into the last round, he is going to be the championship favourite.
Well, it's really probably maybe Sofa King who will get... And he's a fair way back, isn't he? But 6.5 minutes in this race. Some clouds are gathering. I don't think we're going to get any rain. I definitely know we're not going to get any rain, because with 6 minutes remaining, you can see the weather icons at the top of your screen. And they are saying no rain as the big billboard. That should be the Coach Jason Academy. Of course, yet to give it a plug tonight. But don't forget, every one of the graduates from that academy is going on to do good things in the world of sim racing. And you can see there, we've got a few ideas here.
Sofa King's one of them.
And Sofa King is one of them. He certainly is. And you can see there, is it a matter of... I don't want to say he's given up on passing Matt here, but I think he's used every trick in the book here. It's a matter of, is he just trying to go defensive and maybe hold on to P3 here with Jono behind him?
No, he's making little mistakes here, so I think he's starting to push a bit harder, and Jono's really applying the pressure. Here we go, down the inside.
Oh,
careful.
They're going to target.
A little bit of rubbing, but that's all right. That's clean racing.
Yep, that is racing, of course, and Jono now up to P3. So, interesting stuff, and can he make some inroads? very good racing there, and that is Nigerian for wow. How good is this race? Let me send you my bank account details, and let me close up my dragon. And Jono now just in front, but Sofa King not too far behind him. But I think Sofa King, it seems like it's much easier to chase than to lead on this occasion as he comes down the inside at the hairpin. No, he can't quite get a move done there. And what other battles have we got? We've got Gavea right behind Nick. Here's another interesting battle. And this one, of course, not for class position. In fact, Gavea still trying to work his way through the field. And after their pit, they came in together, Wilco, didn't they, the two Germans? But Auschwitz had come out a little bit earlier than him, and he's kicked on a little bit more. He's inside that top 10 now. At Gavea side by side with Nick. We've only got 4 minutes to go in this race. Let us know your driver of the day. Down the hill now. Oh, they touch. And they touch again. And you can see there, Sofa King versus Jono, says Cameron Neem. And Nemo, we're going to get to that little battle. And here it is, in fact. Thank you, Nemo. And let us know how many wickets you've taken this season for Invercargill. We would love to hear about it. But Sofa King, can he find a way back? And despite that damage, Chuck Norris, Mint Matt has now got a 3-second buffer there back to Jono and Sofa.
Yeah, he's actually been doing really well, although that gap is building to Willstar. I believe it was 12.6 seconds last time I looked at it, and it's now 17.4. I think Matt's just on let's just bring her home and take a P2, but Jono is 2.6 seconds back, 3 minutes just over on the clock. I don't think there's enough time, but you definitely got to have your hats off for Matt being able to hold off with the damage he sustained during the safety car lap, and managing to provisionally walk away with a P2 here.
And you can see there, Nemo, Sofa King is absolutely fuming. He says he's flashing his lights at Jono. I'm not sure whether it's doing him any good there, Nemo, to be honest, but you can see they're still looking for a way past. And Mark and Rain of Fire, once the cameraman, Mr. Director, he catches up. That battle's been going for a little while too, hasn't it, Mark and Rain of Fire there. Further down the field, we lost Nemo. Jimbo Jones, still with his flapping bonnet in the breeze, flapping away there. He had a good battle with Exorcist, but Exo is in P1 in class at the moment. Sofa leading his respective class, and I think we might be on the penultimate lap, or is there one? I think this might be the penultimate lap of the race.
Should be about 2 more, I reckon.
I reckon we'll wait and see, won't we? Usually when race control says leader is on the final lap, that's usually a good indication that the leader is on the final lap. And then that gives you an indication that we can start getting the podium music ready to go. And Gavea with the fastest lap. So is this a case of the German? Really, it's a missed opportunity, isn't it, Chuck Norris? Because if these two boys had just made that pit stop, you never know what could have happened to these two.
Yeah, exactly. It definitely held them back quite a bit. Not only they had a free opportunity, like last night we saw 10 drivers or so not come in during safety car to get their free stop done, and tonight we saw 3, and out of those 3, Auschwitz and Gavea, they definitely had some pace. So yeah, it's a bit of a mystery as to why they didn't decide to come in, but we could only imagine where they would have stacked up on the grid order here, providing that they took their stop under safety car. They would have saved themselves a good minute.
And Rain of Fire, he's getting very close there. We had 20-odd drivers start this race. I think there it is. I knew it was getting close. Leaders on. I forgot the end part about that. Give it all you can. All or nothing. And Jimbo there is the last of the cars running. He's second in his class, of course. We had 20-odd drivers start the race, is what I was trying to say. Now we've got 16 left. This is the closest battle on the circuit at the moment as we approach the last lap there. Rain of Fire almost getting out of shape there. Mayo well and truly down the road. We'll have a look at this battle. He's lining up a move, heading down the start-finish straight. He's not going to have too many more opportunities here. Is he going to fully send it, or did he didn't send it? and he's not sending it on that occasion. And like I said, Chuck Norris, not too many other opportunities here as there's a car off. I think that might be 7-Eleven. I think it's Nick. 7-Eleven, and he's not. Oh, is he running away? Can he limp home with that car despite its damage? We might just get to Rain of Fire here. The battle continuing as the leader. Oh, Rain of Fire off the circuit, and that's not going to do his chances of passing Mark Ledwich any favours at all. But I think we've got our race leader coming around, approaching the final couple of corners. Turns 14, 15 at the Cheetah, and then 16 and the final corner. It's his first race in the Nissan GTR series here tonight, and it's going to be a win. It's going to be 1 out of 1 for Will Starr. Out of the final corner, he's dominated this race here and done everything he needed to do tonight. He crosses the line, and he is our winner tonight. But don't forget about this man. Oh, Jono getting very close to him there, but it's not going to be enough because, Matt, what a masterclass of driving from this man in defensive driving, Chuck Norris. Despite that damage, he comes across the line. Jono is third in his class. Sofa winning his respected class there, fourth on track in the end. Mayo across the line. And I think we might have lost another one. No, we haven't. They're all finishing now. Mark across the line. And a Rain of Fire. I think he's managed to get home there in fourth position for his class. Nismo has finished. HC Lewis, you'll be proud, we know it. And now the disappointing German brothers. I'm not sure how to say disappointed in German, but I'm sure it'll be Dash Hohenstoffen and something like that. But anyway, Vibesy now in the more traditional colour, which we're used to seeing these cars in. The traditional yellow brick car, not yellow brick road. And lost pressure in my right rear with 20 minutes to go, says Rain of Fire. And Nick pulls off to the side of the track. Aaron Thomas. It's a popular livery, that Gran Turismo livery, of course, on the Nissans there. He's across the line, and here comes Jimbo. Jimbo Jones, bonnet flapping in the South African breeze, Chuck Norris, is coming through to win his class. Look at this, shattered windscreen and all, and he'll be heading to Windscreen O'Brien. Remember the Windscreen O'Brien ad from many years ago? But he'll be coming across the line now to win, and we'll be chatting with that man in the not too distant future. EXO is already in the pits, along with Nemo as well. And that, gentlemen, is a wrap here tonight. And boy, once again, we saw plenty of action, didn't we, Chuck, in the last 50 minutes?
Yeah, it was definitely interesting. Lots of battles and, plenty of good overtakes and moves being made. And, definitely hats off to the drivers that were carrying quite substantial damage towards the end there, because, not only is that a great challenge to deal with maneuvering a lot of corners around here at Kyalami, but, it just goes to show, that no matter how much damage you get, you can still see that checkered flag. It's a good thing to hold on your shoulders.
Certainly is, and they'll be wearing that with pride tonight. And yes, you can see there the final results on your screen. It is Will Starr winning from Mint Matt there, and great drive from Matt, of course, defensive drive there to finish in second. Jono in third, Sofa King winning his class, and then Mayo and then Mark as well, and then of course the rest of them on your screen. Jimbo, Exorcist, and Kid Byers also making the podium there in third place in his class. In fact, no, I think Jackery might have beat me to it. But we've got our drivers with us here, and we might start with our race winner, Will Starr. Mate, have you got us there?
Yeah, I can hear you guys.
Loud and clear, mate. Well, it's pretty easy, isn't it, this Nissan GTR series, mate? One race, one win.
I don't think it should have been. I got to apologise to Matt. I watched the replay. I'm not sure what happened under the safety car. I was looking down at my relative, looked up, and two cars in front of me were pretty much stopped. So we both got damage out of that, and because we were real close in the practice race, and I thought it would have been a good race, but then obviously we both got damage, with Matt getting the worst end of it.
Great stuff, mate. Congratulations. Clinical performance there tonight, mate. You put on a show. Absolute masterclass. You took the win. You took the maximum amount of points, mate. We'll catch you next time around.
Cheers, guys.
Great stuff there, Will Star. Now to Matt Simmons. This man, what a drive. And he is our driver of the day. And he's, we didn't even have a vote, Matt. That's how well you're travelling. I just went with that executive decision there and didn't tell Wilco about it. But Matt Simmons is with us as well. Talk us through that race, mate. You had damage from the early stages of the race. Still managed to get that thing into second place.
Yeah, look, I'm not overly impressed really with what happened, to be honest. I'm not sure what happened on the safety car in that last lap. I don't think Willstar doesn't have to apology. I don't know what happened ahead. So again, I have to look at the replay with Oush Wizard and Kick It and Rip It, because they just stopped and had no idea they were going to stop between turn 1 and 2. And then, yeah, the damage I thought was going to be pretty bad. And then wasn't overly impressed with the starting procedure either, with Oush Wizard clearly leaving a huge gap to Gavea on the start, which I think caused a effect behind, because people would have seen Gavea gone, but Oush Wizard hadn't left yet. So I think it caused some issues behind as well. So overly not too impressed with that. But anyway, once I got going, the rear end of my car was horrible. It was actually really scary. It didn't want to turn right, so it turned into a NASCAR. And yeah, so I had to really fend off trying to battle off Sofa King a few times, and then Jono was coming one more lap and he had P2 comfortably. So happy with P2, but not impressed with kind of what happened throughout. So a bit unfortunate. Would have, as Will said, would have loved to have had a battle with him. I think that would have been a mega battle or race long towards the end there, but not to be. But yeah, well done to Will on the win, and Jono for getting P3.
Great stuff. Well, unfortunately, mate, yeah, we're going to. I think we're going to review that, aren't we, Chuck? As well. Yep, safety car will be under review, so we'll try and make some changes there. But Matt, mate, fantastic drive, like I said at the top. Still finished in P2, despite the damage, mate. We'll see you next week, and thanks for joining us post race.
Cheers, guys. Look forward to Sudoku. Thank you.
Great stuff. The great man there, and boy, he's spoken there, Chuck, so we need to take some action there once our man says that. But Jono is also with us, P3 in the end. Couldn't quite steal P2 there tonight, mate, but still give us a quick word on how you saw your race tonight.
Probably my worst track in this game, so I pretty much benefited completely from the safety car and just focused on not making too many mistakes in those first few laps, and it paid off in the end.
And great stuff, matey. Happy with P3 tonight. Obviously not quite managing to get further up into P2 there, mate, but sets you up for the next round, of course, at Bathurst in a couple of weeks.
I would have taken a 10th place at this joint, so to come over podium, I'm absolutely stoked. Middle of the race was a bit tough because Sofa King was stuck up behind Matt, who had lots of damage, and I was hoping they would, fight. Sofa King would get past, because Matt was really struggling to get used to the conditions of the car, and fortunately Sofa King couldn't do it, and it was sort of a really awkward concertina effect. So about halfway through, I thought I'd back up a little bit, try and look after the tyres and make an attack towards the end, and it seemed to pay off because I had a lot of pace at the end compared to those two, and Sofa King made a little bit of a mistake at turn 2, and that was my chance to get past, and pulled it off, made the apex, and he wasn't too happy with me afterwards. I'm not sure why, and threw a few cheeky dives for the next few laps, but he'll get me next time.
Great stuff, mate. Perfectly summed up there. You took P3 in the end, and you said that you'd be happy with P10, mate. So P3 podium finish. Well done. Congratulations.
Thanks, mate. Looking forward to hopefully wrapping up the endurance title next week at Suzuka. We're a bit nervous with our penalty, but I think we can get it done.
Great stuff, mate. Don't forget, that's going to be a huge weekend. Friday, of course, the 8th of December, qualifying, and then the race will be on the 10th. We'll get to that in a moment. We've got Sofa King with us, the winner in his class, mate. Sofa, you got us there?
Yeah, mate, I'm here.
Great stuff, mate. Talk us through your race. You were battling it out with the guys at the front for a large part of that race, mate, but you still took the win in class and P4 on track overall. Talk us through it.
Yeah, no, it was a pretty rubbish race for myself. I stuffed up with my tyre pressures. So when I changed my tyres, and I didn't need to change my tyres, but I stupidly changed my tyres in the pits on the first lap, the pressures were off by almost 0.8. So when I finished the race, I was racing on tyres that were literally 26.0 PSI. So I had no grip, couldn't corner very well. That's why I couldn't get past Matt, because I could see Matt struggling, but I just couldn't make the dive or get around him because I just didn't have the tyres. And then, the rest of the race was just praying that Jono wouldn't come anywhere near me. He backed off. I thought I was clear. And then, he came home very strong. I didn't see what happened. I just felt the bumping pushed wide, and I thought that's what was wrong. But after reviewing it and talking to Wilco, it was a good pass, and it was my fault anyway because I made the mistake in corner 2. So P4 overall and P1 in class, it's good. It's probably my best track, so just disappointed I didn't get on the official podium.
Well, mate, fantastic performance nonetheless, and really do appreciate you taking the time out post-race to have a chat with us, mate. Congratulations, winning your class, 4th overall tonight. We'll catch you next time around.
Cheers, mate.
Great stuff, Sofa King there. I don't think we've got Jimbo in the chat, Wilco, in the interviews here, so we might just push on and wrap up here, Wilco. KRL done, round 6. It's done for another week.
Yeah, yes, it is. It is done.
Or is it?
And I've got to be careful what I say here. It's a bit of a joke if you ask me. But yeah, we'll review all those incidents, and we've got a couple of weeks off, which is probably a good time. And we've got the Enduro next weekend, so that should be good. And then we'll be back for Bathurst, which should be quite good, as it usually is.
Great stuff. Always one of our favourites, of course. Mount Panorama. That is all we have time for. Ladies and gentlemen, big shout out to you, Chuck Norris, making your return this week after your dodgy internet issues, mate. Thank you for joining us and contributing, as you always do, to this commentary team, mate. Well done.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure. I look forward to next weekend. For those that might not know, we've got Suzuka 4 hours for the Enduro series. I'm looking forward to that kicking off. And then 13th and 14th of December, I'm looking forward to coming back for the famous Bratwurst, as a lot of people in my Enduros call it. So I'm looking forward to that one on the 13th, 14th of December. But nonetheless, though, next weekend, Suzuka, that one's going to be a show, Trev. So happy to have this one out of the way, and we'll leave the reviews for the stewards, and we'll have more news in the Discord soon.
Yep, not the best time to mention Bratwurst, that's for sure, given the German brothers there on the safety car restart, but that's all we've got time for, ladies and gentlemen. Yep, I'm not in the stewards room, but I'm sure there's plenty to play out. We've got enough, it's more drama than Netflix here tonight, that's for sure, on that safety car restart, but that's all we've got time for, ladies and gentlemen. Absolute pleasure to bring this to you. Everybody in the comments, you know who you are. You're the ones that make this extra special, but we'll be back, of course. We've got a week off from the KRL season. Great work. Thank you, Jimbo, as well. Congratulations on your win in class tonight. Great commentary, he says, as always. Be kind to one another, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back with more action on the Kid Buyers Racing League channel here on Twitch next time around, but for now, it's goodbye.